I I don't know if you know this about me, but I like essential oils. And I introduced my husband to adding them to water, and he's come up with some interesting concoctions. And I'm just drinking that water going, aniseed should never be a part of water. Um, I'm completely normal. It's okay. Um, this morning, good morning wherever you are. This morning, I sat before God and I'm like, who's had a big week? I've had a week and a half in 5 days. Like, it just feels like there's one thing and there's another thing and there's, okay, God, where you're taking me, because we're going to have to get somewhere eventually, right? I have had texts from people this week that I haven't heard from for so long, and I think God has a way of taking care of us just to encourage us, just to lift us up. You know, my girlfriend sent me a meme, and it said, "What if life was like a Mario Kart?" You know, we get boosts along the way, and we get the power ups, and because at the moment life's not exciting enough, and I need a little bit of fun added in. And I thought, oh, I could do with a power up about now. And then I got a text from someone saying, hey, you're doing great, and God's going to use you in a mighty way. And this is a word that you gave me a year ago, and I'm still holding on to it. And how's that for a power up? God is so good. I'm driving a lot these days in my new job, and I was listening to the music chosen by the child that was sitting beside me going, I would never listen to this music. And I got into my car and I'm just like, oh, the tunes that I choose. But then I got home and someone's like, driving by myself is so tiring because I have to be the lead singer. I have to be the guitarist and the drummer. I have to be the sound director. I have to be the backup singer. Who else drives like that? You're all looking like at me like I'm the only one that does this, but I know better. I know. I've seen you guys drive. Not being in the car, I've seen you drive. No, kidding. I'm getting to the word, sorry. How are we living the gospel? How are we living it? Mother Teresa once said, the most terrible poverty is the loneliness and the feeling of being unloved. She goes on speaking about her time, but it's still relevant now. The biggest disease today is not leprosy or tuberculosis, but rather the feeling of being unwanted. There's more hunger in the world for love and appreciation than for bread. We think sometimes that poverty is only being hungry, naked, and homeless. But the poverty of being unwanted, unloved, and uncared for is the greatest poverty of all. We must start in our own homes to remedy this kind of poverty. Do not wait for leaders. Do it alone. What a wise woman. Some of you have been on the sidelines observing the learning curve of epic proportions that is Anita trying to get used to her new job, right? And for those of you that don't know, I've moved into being a residential care worker for kids. And I've never worked in this arena before, but I have skills. And I want to tell you this morning, you have skills. You have skills, and it's okay to remind yourself that you have skills and to remind yourself what skills you have. Because at every step in the journey, there are going to be people that tell you that those skills are irrelevant and not useful, and what do they have to do with the thing that God is bringing you to right now, okay? Everything about the job description says that I can do it with my eyes closed. So I applied to it, and I'm doing it, and my eyes are wide open. It's hard, but it's so rewarding. And it's complex, and I will probably never experience all the complexities, and hopefully, pray God, I won't. I need to take a moment probably here to explain a little bit. I'm a missionary kid. I grew up overseas in Papua New Guinea. I'm a third culture kid. I'm an Australian. When I was 5 weeks old, I went to PNG. I became a white Australian in Papua New Guinea. And my culture became not Australian and not Papua New Guinean, but this, whatever this looks like in the middle, that third culture. It became a blended mix of awkwardness and not fully understanding what I was or what I looked like or what my role was. Like, I was 5 weeks old when I first went there. That didn't really matter. But I grew up thinking I was black in a not black body with other kids that thought I was black. And I spoke English and they spoke Pidgin and Talk Place, village language. And it worked because it was different, but it was us, and we just grew up, right? And then I entered an adult arena, and they're like, why do you do that? I'm like, what do you mean, why do I do that? That's just who I am. And people start saying, you are not normal. I'm like, I'm not normal? I'm not? And it's kind of a step back, right? When someone says, you're actually not normal. And you're like, oh. And if you don't have a response to that, you start feeling insecure and you start feeling like you're less and you start feeling like you're not capable, right? I did. That's my story. I actually went into youth ministry. I went to Bible college. I have a bachelor in ministries and a major in youth ministries. Then I got married a week after graduation and didn't really work in youth ministry. I became a missionary. Woohoo! And I moved up here. I've been here for 20 years as a missionary, working with my husband and Mission Aviation Fellowship and working in mission with my life as a missionary. So I'm talking to you from an arena that I have lived, right? I am a missionary here in this place. I didn't grow up here. I'm not native. And apparently in Mariba, unless you've been here for 150 years, you're actually not from Mariba. Like, oh, are you, Chris is saying 200. I swear it's in the blood or the water or something. But I'm from Mariba, but I'm not from Mariba. Oh, right? Yeah, you guys will get me. So I've been married for 22 years, but I've been a missionary for at least 20. I'm a mom of 4 kids. They're mostly independent. They still live with me, but they're independent, right? I do have skills. I have skills. I'm strong. I'm confident most of the time. I'm loud, but I can be quiet. I got to a point in our life where we didn't have the answers as parents, and in both work, in our mission, in all sorts of things. And I said, God, we need someone in this position, and it needs to look like this, and I need help. And he said, go be help. Go train yourself and be help. You're the missionary. Go and equip yourself to be that person because your community needs it, and I need you to do that. And I thought, well, that's a bit unfair. Somebody else can be the, what's it called when you go in, pioneer? Get someone else to be the pioneer. And he said, I want you to do it because you're the one that's passionate about it. But you're the one that is saying, God, I need this to be here. And I've given you the passion for it, and I want you to be equipped to that. And so I went and I got a diploma in counseling and family therapy, and he said, not enough, go back. And I got an advanced diploma. And I learned more about myself in the first year of counseling than I learned about anyone else. And I'm like, God, this is not fair. I'm supposed to be here to be an answer for other people. He's like, well, fix yourself. Sort out who you are. He actually didn't say fix yourself. I'm correcting that because I don't think he sees brokenness as brokenness. We do. He doesn't. He says, I want to lead you to a place where you understand who you are. And I want to lead you to a place where you can say, I'm normal. And it's normal. I sent my kids this silly donkey going, when I said I was normal, I may have over-exaggerated. And we laugh about it, but where there is that insecurity, where we have that imbalance, where we have that rocky foundation, there's no sort of baseline that we can work from, right? If the devil can take away your baseline, your foundation, your security, then every sort of step you take, you're going to be like this. I'm wearing flats. I put my heels on this morning. I thought, I'm gonna wear heels. I'll show them what it's like to teeter-totter. And God's like, just put flats on. You're no good with heels. And it just proved my point, right? What is my foundation, and can I walk faithfully without stumbling, without falling, because I know there's a secure step? And why is all of this about me? It's not all about me. I'll come back. I've seen mess and I've seen breakthrough. I've known security and I've known attack. I can tell you stories about guns that were built, homemade backyards, and someone breaking into my house and the gun was bigger than they were. And I'm like, what are you doing with that thing? And I was terrified, and the little old lady that was beside me was, get out of my house. You don't belong here. And they left, scared of her. And I went, his gun was bigger than he was. And she goes, my God was bigger than his gun can ever be. You have skills and you have testimonies and you have an ability and a strength within you that no one else can speak to. And someone's going to say, you are not normal. That's not normal. I've lived with little and I've been entrusted with much, but I have a confession. When I said I was normal, I may have exaggerated. My normal is not the same as your normal. And we weren't made to be normal. We were made to stand out. We were created to live in the world, but not be of the world. And that's uncomfortable because we're told that you should be comfortable. You should be able to do this and just walk and just flow and you can just be, you look like she does and she looks like she does and she looks like, how boring. Can't think of anything worse. But at the time, I so desire that because that's what I'm told to desire, right? Dear Lord, I pray that the spaghetti would just straighten out. Father, that the thoughts that are yours would just come out, Lord, this morning. Father, bring your inspiration, we pray. Amen. Who can tell me what the single greatest desire for a child in residential care or foster care or child safety might be? To be a normal kid. They just want to be normal. And everything about their life says, you're very different to everyone else. And when they go to school, it's very different. And when they go to soccer games or footy games, they have an entourage. And they're like, I just want to be normal. I just want to be normal. And how do we as support workers get them to a place where they understand what their normal can look like? We Mother Teresa them. Can we remember what she said? We want to fill their lives with love and appreciation. And as their lives become secure and as their emotions stabilize, they find a solid baseline. And when they find a baseline, they've got something to return to when life goes, come back to baseline. But all of this stuff happened. That's okay. Just come back here. That's normal. a foundation from which we can add boundaries and consequences that will actually lead to growth and maturity. Are you feeling challenged this morning, church? I'm being taught to give this to the kids that I'm working with. And I'm going, God, that's me. I need that. I need to find and live and just operate at baseline. What looks simple and easy on paper is so much more complex in reality. And some kids, and I know there's people in this church, have lived things that I would never even want to imagine. And I hear your story and I think God's faithfulness is so much all over your life because I don't know why you would be here except Him. And there's a strength that is in you because of what you've been through that no one else carries. And there's a testimony that you have lived a life and you've forged in that fire. And right now, where you are right now, your normal that looks different to everyone else is so strong. And that's what we need to bring people to, right? That's what we can speak to. I see how strong you are here. And I don't know what brought you here, but gosh, it's good. Fortunately, we have multiple reminders throughout the word that help us remember that we're not walking this alone. Yeah. And I want to say this, I'm choosing verses randomly, so you may have to go back and go, did she say that out of context? And this is my mother and father in my ears right now as Bible translators going, use that in context, Anita. I may quote some of these out of context, but God has used them to speak to me in this moment. Okay, Deuteronomy 31:8. The Lord Himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you. He will never forsake you. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. God will go before you and He comes behind you. If you're in the music team, you've heard me say it multiple times. He goes before you. He comes behind you. He's got your back and He walks beside you. Right? Psalm 139 verse 5, and I'm just reading from the New Living, but we've got it in the New King James. You go before me and follow me. You place your hand of blessing on my head. Isaiah 52:12. For you shall not go out with haste or go by flight, for the Lord will go before you, and the God of Israel will be your rear guard. Do you know when we step out and we're sort of entering into something that we're like, God, I know you called me to it, and I'm walking because I'm in obedience right now. I'm submitting to you, okay, you know better, and I'm walking. Can you just have my back? And you know when you work with a team of people that have your back, you walk with your shoulders back and your head high, right? You're like, oh, even when I stuff up, which I do, which you will, someone's got your back. She did do that. But maybe this was her intention. Or maybe this was where she was coming from. And someone's got your back. Hebrews 13 verse 5 says, let your conduct be without covetousness, without envy. Be content with such things as you have. For He Himself has said, I will never leave you, nor will I forsake you. Why am I telling you this? Why am I going on and on about it? How are we living the gospel, church? This is all living the gospel. This is all evangelism. This is all speaking the truth of Christ in me, how he's changed my life, how he wants to impact yours and empower you, how he wants to draw the things out that you were created to do and be so that you can use them and walk them in confidence. I think we've got it wrong in that sort of competitive comparison lifestyle that we sort of involve ourselves in sometimes. You are so good at that, I'm going to be good at that. Or they are really, I can't even think of something. It's gone out of my brain. Because I've tried not to enter into that. If I can be the biggest cheerleader you have ever had, then I want to know what happened in your life because I'm going to cheer it on. Because I don't need to be you and I don't need to be in your life, but I'm going to cheer you on because that was hard for you. And you overcame something that I have never had to overcome. And I'm going to cheer that on in you. And that's gospel. And some people need a cheerleader, and I don't look like a cheerleader, but I am. Told you I was normal. May have exaggerated. Are you hearing me? We put in our mind all this stuff that we need to do this and we need to look like this and it needs to happen like this, and I may be wrong about that. Maybe what I have is what God's given me for this season right now. And maybe what you have is enough because he's there with you. And maybe all you need is someone to give you a power up along the way. Here's a banana. Have you been a Minion? There's like this Minion game. It's really annoying, and I had to delete it off my computer because I spent way too much time playing it as an adult with children. And you literally just go along tracks and you pick up bananas and you power up and you get stronger and then you go faster, and that's literally all you do. And I know you're looking at me like, wow, I thought better of you. But, you know, sometimes you just need to sort of click off and go, I just need a couple of bananas. Banana, banana. I had to delete it off. I did get a little bit addicted. Anyway, sometimes we need a banana. And we need someone to hand them, just here, have a banana. If I walk out that door and all of you come up to me with a banana, I'm going to die. Bernadette's doing Sunday school. We're safe. But this is what I'm saying. Be that banana for someone, okay? Be the person that says, are you okay? Here you go. I see this in you, and you can do this. And you know what's good about that is you are being sure and secure. Your foundation is solid, and I'm seeing what God is doing in your life and over your life right now. And I love that you are so different. You know, in that discussion that we just had, the comment that you made was so far away from anything I even imagined. I appreciated it. You know why? Because it taught me something I didn't know about this situation. It's actually not hard to appreciate people when we're looking for it. When we're looking for ways to power up people, they're everywhere. I had this kid, and I just worked 4 shifts in a row, okay? I started at 8 a.m., I did 8 to 4, I did 4 to 10, I did 10 to 8:30, I did 8 to 4, and I'm going, oh, God, these kids may be the death of me. Because they're kids that have not appreciated. They've survived trauma in their life, and trauma responses is fight or flight. You get the fight or you get the flight, or you're trying to bring them to the baseline where there can at least be conversation, but sometimes you don't even get conversation, and it feels like you're in a household of teenagers. Do you want some dinner? How about we go and... My Lanta. My go-to is often music, and I'll just start singing, and they'll go, what are you singing? I'm like, well, if you sang something instead of grunting, we might get somewhere. And then sometimes we're just, you break the ice and you get somewhere. Or we go out and we run around. Why are you running? You're old. Gosh, thank you for the compliment. Look how live and spry I am. You're going to break something. You might be right about that. Mary Andrews Park is really good for that, by the way. When you go out there to pray, there's all sorts of things that you never knew were there that you can use in ways you never knew you'd ever see yourself doing. When he takes you out of your comfort zone, what does it look like? And by he, I mean God. When you're being guided out of where you are right now, when you're being led forward, have you thought about what that looks like? Are you comfortable doing it? When he brings you someone who is broken with a heart that needs love, that needs care and needs time, what does that look like in your response? What's the food that you put on the table? Are you serving a feast, or you go, nah, here, have a muesli bar? There's time for both, right? And what about, instead of bringing the broken to you, God takes you to the broken and says, what are you going to do now? In the journey so far, I've learned one of, or two, or 500 things. I can't find myself when I'm looking for myself because I've never been lost. I'm not lost. You're not lost. And it's a lie that Christians have said for a long time. There's lost. They're not lost. God has them just as he has you. And he has always had them, and he has always had me. And unless I reject him and deny his very existence, he will always have me. But it can look better, right? Even if I deny him, he still loves me. And he respects me enough to let me walk in the decision that I've made. Us as church, for so long have said, here are some, and here am I, and this is such a better place to be. But we need to grow up and appreciate that we are exactly the same in God's eyes. And until Christ comes, just as we spoke around the table, he covers our sin with his blood. He washes it away. Number 2, I actually can't be normal. I can't be normal in the way that I think normal should be, because normal is just my understanding of normal. I was never created to fit in. I was created to stand out. And as soon as I understand that, I can walk with that secure baseline. Psalm 139. And I come back to this a lot. But it says, Lord, you've searched me and you know me. You know when I sit down and when I rise up. My entire life and in everything I do, you understand my thought from afar. You scrutinize my path. I'll read yours. You comprehend my path and my lying down, and are acquainted with all of my ways. For there is not a word on my tongue, but behold, O Lord, you know it altogether. You have hedged me behind and before, and you've laid your hand upon me. And such knowledge is too wonderful for me It's high, I can't attain it. Where can I go from your spirit, or where can I flee from your presence? If I ascend into the heaven, you're there. If I make my bed in hell, behold, you still love me. I added that. Behold, you are there. If I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there your hand shall lead me, and your right hand shall hold me. And just before I move on, I don't know if you've ever woken up on the side of a ship in the middle of the ocean, and all there is water. Maybe a few dolphins and fish. But you look out on the sunrise and you go, whoa. Do you know there's an awe and a wonder that is inbuilt in us to appreciate what's going on, to appreciate what was created. We, leaning off the side of a boat, can appreciate the beauty. When we're in the middle of a paddock and we look out and all we see is grass and the wind coming through the grass, and we can smell it and it smells amazing, and then a cow comes. No. But we see all the cows and we are created to appreciate that wonder. When did we stop doing that with people? Can I encourage you to just take a minute and look at your people? And by your people, I mean the people that are in your life, that are around you, day to day. Can you find something to appreciate the wonder of them? Because I can tell you, whether it's your marriage, whether it's your kids, whether it's your community, someone has lost that. And if you can speak to that, that's going to do something for your relationship with that person like nothing else. Take the minute to appreciate the wonder. Even there your hand shall lead me, and your right hand shall hold me. If I say, surely the darkness shall fall on me, even the night shall be light about me. Indeed, the darkness shall not hide me from you, but the night shines as the day. The darkness and the light are both alike to you, for you formed my inward parts. You covered me in my mother's womb. And I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works, and that my soul knows very well. For my frame was not hidden from you when I was made in secret and skillfully wrought in the lowest parts of the earth. My eyes saw my substance, being yet unformed. And in your book they all were written, the days fashioned for me, when as yet there were none of them. How precious also are your thoughts to me. How great is the sum of them. If I should count them, they would be more in number than the sand. When I wake, I am still with you. Do you know the first part of this psalm? The psalmist is acknowledging that God knows everything that we've ever done. That no matter when or where he does, that God knows it, right? And even though he's all-knowing, you know that fancy word, what is it? Omniscient? Omniscient? All-knowing? Is that all-knowing? And omnipresent, ever-present. He's present everywhere. The fact that God knows that can actually be very reassuring to us. It should be frightening, though, for those that think they're hidden from God. And by frightening, I mean you can't hide from God. And I had to laugh because I've been in one house for a couple of weeks now, and something happened, and I sort of went, why does your backpack look like this? And the kid sort of snorted. And she's like, I haven't eaten that yogurt for the last 3 days. I'm like, what? There was yogurt full in her bag that had spilled and gone crusty. And I'm like, oh. And she goes, you never knew about it. I'm like, but you knew about it. And there's a stench in your bag that says the whole world knew about it. You know, we try and hide things like that's just yogurt, but it's nothing that my husband hasn't done. Ask him about Vegemite sandwiches and his mother. He'll tell you a story about having to move. You know, we try and hide, but it doesn't go hidden for long. Truth comes to light. And from verses 19 to 24, the psalmist starts to distance himself from the wicked. And he says, God, I need you to help me to live in righteousness. I'm just going to quickly go through it and then we're almost finished. Oh, that you would kill the wicked. Go away from me, therefore, men of bloodshed. For they speak against you wickedly. Your enemies take your name in vain. Hang on. Do I not hate those who hate you, Lord? And do I not loathe those who rise up against you? I hate them with the perfect and utmost hatred. They have become my enemies. Search me, please, Lord. Know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. And see if there's any wicked or hurtful way in me. Lead me, Lord, in the way of everlasting. I'm doing a devotion right now that is written by the man who survived with his dog from the airplanes and the fall of the Trade Center. Has anyone heard that story? Him and his dog. And he said he decided to, he's now written a second book, Helen. It's very good also, called How to Be a Guide Dog. Because he's blind. He was born blind. Is it not ironic that the one man who survived, there were multiple that survived the Trade Center, but he survived and he's blind. Just leave that there for a minute. He says, fear is normal. It causes psychological and physiological responses to threats. But fear is also a gift. It protects us from risky behavior. But the Bible tells us, no, do not be afraid. In fact, fear not is one of the most often repeated commands in God's word. By some counts, it's found 365 times. One for every day of the year. Fear not, fear not. We should just do that every morning. Fear not. Instead of good morning, fear not. Just get it out there at the beginning, and then we don't have to worry about it the rest of the day. Transforming fear to courageous action begins with our first strategy of awareness. What do we need to be aware of if we're not going to be fearful? Who's our guide dog? We need to be aware that it's not us alone in the dark. And if we are the guide dog, we need to be aware that we have a responsibility to someone who might be blind. Is anyone else feeling challenged? You all have skills. It doesn't have to have alphabets after it. You are equipped. You have been enabled. You have been trained to use what you can do to bring people back to their baseline. Find that foundation where they can have consequences for bad behavior but still grow. Where they can have encouragement and someone who's going to speak life and love and acceptance over them, and they can go flourish. Am I making any sense today? It's just an encouragement. And I want to use one more thing from this devotion. The guide dog looks to its handler for direction, not just where to go, but how to approach any given situation. When I feel afraid, I begin by not denying it, but becoming aware of it. I make a conscious decision to keep from panicking. I am going to speak to the involuntary physiological response that fear can elicit. I want to control my breathing. I want to control my movements so that my dog can stay calm and I can even mitigate those physiological reactions for them. Rather than spiral into panic, I focus on getting myself under control. Do you know it's easy to be a minion? It's easy to join the fish run up the stream, you know? Let's just join all the other fish. Let's just join all the other minions. Let's do what they're doing because it's easier to fit in than it is to stand out. But sometimes that's not the normal we're called to do. And this church is entering into something we're not called to be normal, church. And I don't know, like even this morning it was just like one song after another, and Chris's message just tied into the songs, and this tied into Chris's message, and we're not normal, but we're in this together. We're not the only person going the other direction. We're not the only person listening and saying, God, show me what that means. And this morning, we're just going to finish on that. Just be encouraged. Jesus said to them, take courage. It is I. Don't be afraid. And that was walking on the water. Moses answered the people, sorry, Mel, I didn't give you this. Do not be afraid, stand firm, and you will see the deliverance the Lord will bring you. The Egyptians you see today, you will never see again. Church, God is doing something so beautiful, and He's teaching us a dance. I don't know. My name's Anita. It means graceful one. Graceful one. Every time I try and dance, I think, God, that's a joke. I'm not very graceful when I dance. And Mum said to me, Taryn, gosh, I'm talking to my daughter now. It's not about being graceful, it's about being full of grace. But He's teaching us a dance. And one of my girlfriends is going through breast cancer and all that is involved in that. And she was actually given 3 months to live. And she said, God, I don't feel like my time's done. Medically, everyone says it is. But she goes, that's not the peace that's in my heart. I feel like you're going to do something here. And sometimes it's hard to hold on to that because we think, am I believing something that's against what God's actually got for me? But you know, you need to hold to that faith that He gives you, irrespective of what happens, right? And she sent me this. She said, I finally found my rhythm when I realized that even the steps backwards were part of the dance. I don't know where you're at this morning. I mean, I know where some of you are at, but I don't know where all of you are at. I don't know what God's challenging you on. I don't know what you've been through. I don't know where you're coming from. I don't know where your baseline is. But God's saying you can move forward with confidence. You can move forward with faith. You can be completely abnormal and it will be normal. And I can give you a confidence in being able to do 100% what I've asked you to do, being 100% true to who you are. You don't have to change to do what God's asked you to do until He asks you to change. And usually that's because I just need to grow. And I'm going to pray, but if there's something that you need further prayer about, we're going to have this open as well. If the music team wants to come up. Father God, I thank you for your faithfulness. I thank you for your guidance. I thank you that you love us so much, irrespective of what that looks like. Father, you love us so much that you don't want us to stay where we are today, because you hold a tomorrow for us. Lord, I pray for people right now that are struggling with their normal. I pray for people that may not know the foundation, may not know the baseline that they need to operate from. Father, I pray for people that have anxiety, that have fear, that have tumultuous realities right now. I pray that you would connect us with a guide dog, or help us to be the guide dog for someone else. Give us the assurance that we're not in this together, that you've called us as a village, that you've called us as a family, as a community that comes alongside each other, that the word that we have for someone can be spoken with confidence and love. Lord, give us a passion and a desire for you that we don't understand, that fills us, that brings us to a more complete understanding of what my role is right now, what I'm walking in reality. Father, bring us people that will hand us a banana. Give us the power up. Give us that guidance. Give us a cup of tea. Father, we love you so much. You are so worthy of our praise. You are so worthy of our honor. And we are faithful to just submit who we are to you this morning. God, I'm sorry for the things that I've done that you asked me to stop and I'm still holding on to. And I'm just going to let them go. I'm sorry for trying to do it alone when I needed my people. I'm sorry for shutting the door in your face when you said you were here to help. Lord, I need your help. I want your help. Could you show me what that looks like? Father, fill us with the joy of the Lord that is our strength. Give us laughter and just overflowing, bubbling up springs of living water. Help us to love well. Help us to appreciate well. In Jesus' precious name. Amen.